It's Wednesday, July 16th. In the headlines, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the government is on track to deliver 70,000 houses. In business news, Guardian Holdings Limited acquires NCB Insurance Agency and Fund Management Limited's pension fund management portfolio. Regionally, LIAT 2020 lands major deal for charter flights to Colombia. And in sports, West Indies' Hayley Matthews wins 4th ICC Player of the Month award. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says his administration is on track to fulfill its promise of delivering 70,000 new housing solutions and is already planning to go further. Dr. Holness made the announcement Sunday night while addressing Jamaica Labour Party supporters at a gospel concert in Old Harbour. More in this report from Danita Rodney.
The Prime Minister used the opportunity to provide an update on the government's housing push, first promised during the last general election.
In the last election, we committed that we would build 70,000 new houses. And we are well on our way to accomplishing these 70,000 new houses.
Prime Minister Holness outlined that the National Housing Trust is set to deliver 43 of those units, with the Housing Agency of Jamaica also playing a key role.
So the NHT is well on track for delivering the 70,000, there 43,000 out of that 70,000. The HAJ has been tasked with delivering 15,000 houses, and they are seeing their way to 8,000 of those. I went to look at one of those housing schemes called Edmond Ridge. Lovely housing development in St. James. And then there is the Bernard Lodge, Greater Bernard Lodge development. Some of you may not know it, but those of you who live in St. Catherine, you should take a time to go over there and see it. Wonderful thing happening over there. That will deliver between 10 and 15,000 housing solutions.
He said these efforts, along with social housing projects, put the government firmly on track, while also setting sights on the next phase.
We shall shortly announce the next phase of housing development, which will help us to reach the 150,000 mark. So I will be announcing another 60,000 new houses to be built coming in the next term. And we are well on our way with that. And I want to tell you that we're not building a house on infirm ground.
Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, voiced her support for the upcoming launch of the rural school bus system. Speaking at this week's post-cabinet press brief, she noted that transportation cost is a challenge for many students, and the new school bus system will address that.
So the school bus system is delivering to our people something that they desperately need. And so I'm all here for it, and I'm all here supporting our rural school bus system because it is something that is transformative and will transform the lives of so many of our children.
Electric vehicles, EVs, are steadily gaining traction in Jamaica, driven by rising consumer interest, supportive government policies, and a surge in vehicle imports. But how practical are EVs for Jamaica's roads, lifestyle, and budget? In part 2 of this feature, we take a closer look at the island's evolving relationship with electric mobility, from the availability of charging stations and lower maintenance costs to environmental benefits and long-term affordability. We explore the key factors shaping Jamaica's shift to electric vehicles. As the country navigates the road to a greener future, the EV conversation is no longer just about innovation. It's about whether this technology truly fits the needs of Jamaican drivers.
Look at what has happened in the renewable energy market as kind of a similar pattern that you'll see in the EV market. I would say, 10, 15 years ago in Jamaica, it was a very small segment of the population that was beginning to install solar at their home or their business. Now you're seeing solar power becoming almost conventional. Most businesses and homeowners are looking at solar because it's a proven way to reduce your energy costs. I think the EV market is probably 10 years behind the solar market, and you'll see many more people adopting EVs once people realize that there's enormous cost savings.
Locally based suppliers are partnering with global EV leaders, bringing modern mobility options closer to home.
Benefits also include maintenance, right? Given that our EV is here, you only maintain it once a year. That's one crucial factor of it, which reduces cost of ownership, all right? And another factor is reliability. So less moving parts equals, less needing to go ahead and change out anything, any worries, oils, all of that stuff. And it's also beneficial for the environment. If we're talking about the average Jamaican lifestyle, it is installed in your home. In terms of the charging station, you have that already available. The other factor is, in partnership with the JPS and Evergo, you have destination charging stations right across Jamaica, able to get you up to 80% in 15 minutes. Especially with the gas prices fluctuating here and there, people are actually finding themselves a bit more challenged. So you find yourself spending approximately, call it, over $34,000 a month, when you could actually be spending up to $10,000 or less per month.
Clean, smart, forward-thinking, electric vehicles are here, and Jamaica is ready. The future is not coming, it's already charging.
Looks like we have a good amount of charge. Let's go.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. 2 major acquisitions were announced to investors this week. First, Guardian Holdings Limited has advised that on July 11, 2025, its board of directors approved a strategic initiative involving the acquisition of NCB Insurance Agency and Fund Management Limited Pension Fund Management Portfolio by Guardian Life Limited, its life, health, and pension business based in Jamaica. Next up, Kingston Wharves Limited has advised that on July 14, 2025, the company acquired 112,911,980 stock units in Cargo Handlers Limited, representing 27% of the company. Kingston Wharves has further advised that the company does not immediately intend to make any significant sales or purchases of stock units in Cargo Handlers. Kingston Wharves has also advised that the company does not plan to seek control of Cargo Handlers or to acquire a majority shareholding in the company. Currently, many persons are worried about the impact of issues like global leadership, changes to local leadership, and artificial intelligence taking jobs or making hiring unnecessary. Today, we speak to Elizabeth Terry, transformational trainer and coach, founder and CEO of Limitless Transformation Coaching and Training Services Limited. Ms. Terry, what are your views on the stress of rapid changes?
You are absolutely right, Denise, that change is accelerating at a pace. And so why do we feel so nervous? Because the ground is constantly shifting beneath our feet. And so we feel stressed and we feel overwhelmed. And it's really difficult to make good decisions under those conditions. And through the Rewiring for Success program that I'm offering, that program is designed to help to shift your thinking so that you can meet uncertainty with a level of clarity and confidence. When you can master your thinking and your emotions, then you can embrace change as an opening for possibility, for growth, and for opportunity.
For the trading period ending July 15, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with 2,219,099 units traded, representing 17.47% of market sales volume. Food distribution firm Spur Tree Spices Jamaica Limited with 1,141,331 units traded, representing 8.98% of market sales volume. Medical supplies distribution firm R.A. Williams Distributors Limited with 1,099,950 units traded, representing 8.66% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On July 15, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $40.85 million purchased and US $53.39 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.75 per dollar, selling the US at $161.30 and buying the US at $159.55. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $4.92 per transaction, with selling at $118.09 and buying at $113.17. The British pound yielded Forex traders $3.79 in profit, with selling at $214.73 and buying at $210.94. For our credit report tip of the day, are you ready to scale your business beyond the solopreneur phase? Well, start by putting your credit score to work. Instead of waiting on a windfall or draining your savings, take immediate action to build your funding foundation. Review your credit report with intention. Eliminate late payments and use a secured credit to rebuild if necessary. And apply for a business credit card that reports to commercial bureaus. And finally, create a funding roadmap aligned with your scaling goals. These strategic credit actions can unlock access to capital, giving you room to hire, delegate, and expand with confidence. Your credit score isn't just a reflection of your past, it's a tool you can actively shape to secure your future. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, LIAT 2020 has entered a major partnership which will result in charter flights between Antigua and Barbuda and Colombia in South America. The flights are set to begin in September this year as part of a historic agreement between the Antigua-based carrier and Blue Sea. Tourism Minister Charles Fernandez has welcomed the deal as another seminal milestone for LIAT, which returned to the skies last August after being saved from liquidation by the Gaston Brown administration. Details of the arrangement were outlined during a news conference on Tuesday afternoon. Alicia George reports.
Antigua and Barbuda has added a new tourism destination under its belt after Blue Seas signed an agreement with LIAT 20 last week. This time we're going all the way to Colombia in South America.
We're making history today is the so well needed direct connectivity between Antigua and Barbuda and Colombia.
An inaugural charter is expected to take flight this September, beginning with one direct flight per week, connecting Cartagena, Colombia, and St. John's, Antigua. The new route, which will be facilitated by LIAT, eliminates the need to transit through Miami, offering visa-free access for both sides and opening doors to tourism, investment, and trade.
The Latin American market is the fastest growing market in the world globally, and Colombia is at the forefront of that. So even as things get a little bit rocky in the traditional source market, it's so important that we look to expand, and so all our eggs are not in one basket, and Latin American market is a key one for us.
This isn't just about tourism. They're looking to open access into the trade markets as well as education and healthcare.
Officials say the link may help boost trade and create startup opportunities while also benefiting medical patients, including those seeking cancer treatment abroad.
It has been, I think, a bit challenging because you have to invariably go through the U.S. or some other longer route to get there. In terms of the U.S., if you didn't have a visa, it would make it more difficult. This direct trip with or flight through LIAT 20 will make it a lot easier, I think, for persons seeking medical attention.
The move could also help stimulate Antigua and Barbuda's summer tourism season.
Our summer period, or September, is traditionally the slowest month of the year. And so when it's summer in our part of this hemisphere, in Latin American countries, Argentina, Colombia, it's their winter season. So they are looking for a warm getaway. So it's a good fit. It's not competing with our main visitor arrival periods. That means, number one, more competitive rates from the hotels, more opportunities to add more value to what we offer to the Latin American market. And so it's a win-win for them, and it's a win-win for us.
It invites opportunities in trade, healthcare, as well as education, particularly for the Hispanic communities. It now opens up a different access market where they can thrive. Alicia George reporting for ABS News.
In Barbados, sargassum seaweed is rearing its ugly head again in abundance along the island's beaches, particularly affecting the east of the island. And its influx continues to impact various sectors, while its foul odor is invading homes. CBC News' Anesta Henry has that report.
The pesky sargassum seaweed has returned, and there's lots of it, blanketing bays and some beaches along the island's coastline. On the east of the island in particular, the nuisance is creating a major headache for fishermen and residents, with several of them fed up with its resurgence. They just want it gone. Fisherman Jody Watson, who is based at Concert Bay, St. John, says that the seaweed is making it difficult for him to get to and from his fishing boat.
Right now there's moss real terrible. You can't get out, you can't get in. To get from your boat to the jetty, you gotta go up on a surfboard. And you can't even put your foot down in it either because the moss died thick. You won't be going nowhere, you gotta lay down on it or stretch out your foot and paddle. And then to get your boat from the jetty to the chain, that's another task because the boat ain't want to move in the moss. You understand? The boat barely creeping. Don't care how much speed you put up on it, the boat barely creeping. And always you see enough boats still here today because you can't get from point A to point B. Right now they got two boats that are supposed to haul down and they can't haul down. Look at the slip over here.
Watson says the fisher folk at Concert Bay are crying out for help. They feel as though their livelihood is caught up in the weed.
I stink all about the place. You know, so we really need some assistance out here. We really need some help. The government had a dredge the other day out here and it disappeared and never come back. But we really need some assistance and some help out here. Definitely, urgently.
Meanwhile, a Blades Hill St. Philip resident who gave her name as Tammy recalls having a foul odor in her house, only to later realize the source of the stink was the seaweed lingering on the coast.
Because I work at Three Houses Park, and I really was getting smell down there as well. You understand? So it's only afterwards then the workers start complaining with the tar, because some people came and asked me too, what was that smell? But sometimes they have a house further in the back that they have a truck that's coming like draw off something from over there. So it always get a smell sometimes. So I thought it was that actually, but then we realized it was the seaweed. And coming here, Concept Beer here this morning, I see so much seaweed here too. So that's what everything come together now as the smell of the seaweed.
Tammy is also hoping for relief from the weed.
I don't know if anything could be done about it, but it really carrying a very, very, very bad smell. And it's affecting a lot of people. A lot of people complaining for it.
Sargassum seaweed, originating from the tropical Atlantic, started washing ashore in large quantities in 2011, impacting tourism and the coastal environment.
Off the coast of southern Belize, something remarkable is happening beneath the waves, and it's being led by women. In Palencia village, seaweed farming is more than just a livelihood, it's a movement. These women are not only cultivating the ocean's bounty, but they're also building businesses, protecting the environment, and inspiring the next generation to dive into the maritime world with confidence and purpose. News 5 has partnered with the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future to highlight its work with various community-based environmental organizations under the Blue Bond Initiative. Here's Isani Kayentano with the following story.
In the warm, clear waters off Belize's coast, a quiet revolution is taking root, led by women. In Placencia village, these ladies aren't just helping out, they're leading the way in seaweed farming. It's more than just a job for many, including Jalima Gold. It's a lifeline that supports their families, strengthens their communities, and even helps protect the environment.
I'm very passionate about our waters here in Belize, and so when I kind of found out that you could do farming in the ocean, that's, for me personally, kind of where it sparked like an interest, you know, something that you could farm in the ocean, in the environment where I always felt like comfortable and happy.
Belize is the first country in the Americas to seal a groundbreaking deal that turns national debt into a powerful tool for ocean conservation. Through the Blue Bond Initiative, the country has pledged to protect 30% of its marine territory. That's 10,113 square kilometers of sea space. And it's doing it by bringing everyone to the table, including the Belize Women Seaweed Farmers Association.
I've been hearing about this association for years through Miss Jalima Gold. She's always been a big advocate. And so through her, I got to know about that they were even accepting members. I had no idea like all the particulars until like she kind of sat me down and was like, hey, this is a great association that you should join.
Back in July 2019, a group of determined seaweed farmers came together to form the Belize Women Seaweed Farmers Association. Their mission? To grow more than just seaweed. They're building an industry from the ground up, turning locally farmed eucuma into high-value products like seaweed gel and powder.
There are many uses to these same types of seaweed that we have here. We have two different types. We have the Capophycus alvarezi and we have the Eucuma Isoformis topsis. They're both in the red algae species, like they're part of the red algae. We have brown algae, we have red, but those two are part of the red algae.
It might look like just another plant from the sea, but Eucuma seaweed is a nutritional powerhouse. It's packed with protein, fiber, omega-3s, vitamin C, and a whole range of minerals. In Belize, this seaweed isn't new. It's been a staple in traditional drinks and puddings for generations, blending health benefits with rich cultural flavor. And here's something cool. It's also the source of a gel-like carbohydrate, a natural thickener used in everything from food to cosmetics.
Because I have a little business called Natural Goddess Scrub, and I use all natural ingredients. So it kind of makes sense that eventually I will add the seaweed into my scrubs. I just have to get the science down. I plan to start making seaweed-based soaps to go alongside with my scrubs that I will eventually, hopefully, get the science for to narrow down how to make it into my all-natural oil-based sugar scrubs.
When added to soap, they bring a whole lot to the table. natural moisture, gentle exfoliation, and a healthy dose of vitamins and minerals. Plus, they give the soap a beautiful green tint and a fresh ocean-inspired scent. The magic happens when powdered seaweed is mixed into soap as it thickens, turning a simple bar into a spa-like treat.
Their plan is to use seaweed in all of the soaps that they make. I think sometimes in Belize, as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, we are reluctant to share our knowledge about how we create what we create. But I personally feel like there's space in the industry for a lot more soap because ideally, everyone bathes every day.
In seaweed farming communities, it's often the women who are leading the charge, not just in the water, but in shaping a more sustainable future. They're the ones championing eco-friendly practices, managing vital resources, and driving local projects that help their communities grow stronger and more resilient.
Our cultivation line was 3/8 inch. Our raffia line was 1/8 inch. The headlines was 5/8 inch. And the anchor line was 3/8 inch.
That's one of the main things for me. I have a daughter who wants to be a captain. She does scuba diving. She is in the maritime space. And when you talk about women in seaweed, it's not just women in necessarily like the seaweed farming aspect, right? It's women in maritime space in general. And so it's very important for us to start pushing boundaries and kind of breaking those barriers for other young females and young women and little girls, right, to feel like they have a safe space and it's something that if they're interested in or if they're passionate about, that they can go for it and do that.
In sports, we're on the pitch with cricket. West Indies captain Hayley Matthews has been named the International Cricket Council's Women's Player of the Month for June. This marks the 4th time that Matthews has earned the honor, having previously claimed the award in November 2021, October 2023, and April 2024. Here's more from Nasir Mohammed.
With this latest accolade, Matthews joins Australia's Ashley Gardner as the only women's players to have received the award on 4 occasions. She edged out South Africa's Tasman Brits and fellow West Indian Afi Fletcher to secure the award. Matthews impressed during the ODI series against South Africa, amassing 104 runs, including a half-century in the final match, and taking 4 wickets across the 3 games. Her standout performances continued in the T20 International Series, where she notched 2 50s, tallied 147 runs, and added 2 more wickets to her tally, earning her the Player of the Series honours as the West Indies clinched a 2-1 series victory. "I am grateful for the recognition and happy to be contributing to our team's progress," Matthews said. "The recent series win was a real team effort, and I'm looking forward to building on that momentum. There's a lot more ahead for us, and I'm motivated by the journey we're on together." In the men's category, South Africa's Aiden Markram claimed the award, outpacing compatriot Kagiso Rabada and Sri Lanka's Pathum Nissanka. Markram's match-winning performance in the ICC World Test Championship final against Australia at Lord's proved decisive.
Players competing in this year's Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Women's Under-19 Championship received comprehensive player development training through a specialized workshop held recently at the Hilton Hotel and Conference Center in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. Designed to enhance both their on-field performance and life skills development to adapt to the demands of high-level sport. Experienced professionals, including Dr. Nadine Sami, current West Indies player Karishma Ramharak, and media personality Jason Williams, provided practical guidance and leadership as well as career development. The workshop represents CWI's commitment to developing well-rounded athletes through their Rising Stars Championship program. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.